So we've been waiting months for the ECG app to launch, and finally it's out. But in some locations, the wait's going to go on, and that wait could take years, and this is why. Now, one of the most anticipated features of the Series 4 watch when it was launched was the ability to do an ECG. A device as small as an Apple Watch being able to actually do a medical ECG was groundbreaking. Now that application has finally launched. It is now available. Unfortunately, it's not worldwide. So those of you outside of a US territory probably went to update your watch like I did. Was anticipating and really looking forward to the ability to do an ECG, but when you looked, it wasn't there. Now, there is a reason for that, my friends, and that is because the ECG is classed as a medical feature, and so therefore, there's regulations it has to go through. So because it is classed as a medical feature, you can't just launch it, and you will need to seek approval by the relevant authority in every single location. So for instance, in the UK, approval would need to be sought by the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, the MHRA. Now, this may require the need for clinical trials because the ones that have been done in the United States just may not be accepted, and this can sometimes take years. Now, the website 9to5Mac reached out to the MHRA and they said that you may need to carry out a clinical investigation as part of the process for obtaining a CE marking for the medical device. Now, a CE marking is effectively a standard which allows products to be sold within Europe, and anything that doesn't have that CE marking just cannot possibly be sold. And because this is a medical device, it is highly likely it would need to go through those clinical trials. Now, obviously Apple have been aware of this for some time, and maybe the anticipated launch and the delay in launch was because they are going through these various processes in the various locations in which they sell. Let's hope that is the case, but without confirmation from Apple as to when they intend to launch in these various locations, guys, we're just not going to know, and in fact, it may not come at all. So that's our thoughts here, guys. What do you think? Leave a comment. Now, if you want to know more about the Apple Watch, then right after this, without you doing anything, I'm going to go straight into my Apple Watch Series 4 review, so you can watch that straight away now. So arguably the star of the Apple event that happened in September was not the iPhone, but it was this, the Apple Watch Series 4. So the new models come in two new sizes, 40mm and 44mm, and with the narrower edges you actually get a 30% larger display. So there is a new digital crown which gives you haptic feedback, so it does actually feel like it's clicking when you now scroll through, and it feels much more intuitive than it did on the previous models. Now, at the keynote, Apple spoke a lot about the heart rate sensor, and it gives you the ability now to be alerted and to potentially call for help should your heart rate drop below a certain level. So what powers the new device? Well, it's the new S4 chip, and it is the first product in the world to run on SiP, which is a silicon in package. So therefore you get up to 2 times faster operation, apps open quicker, and the overall processes are definitely improved. So the mic has been moved to the other side, and that helps with phone calls so that you don't get the echoey feedback that you sometimes got previously. And on the same note, you've got an improved speaker which is 50% louder, it's bigger and more powerful than in previous models, and it works very well with the walkie-talkie feature. So one of the benefits of having a larger display is that you can get a lot more information on. Now, all of the list on the right hand side are all different bits and pieces that you can add to the infograph display, so you can really customize it and have exactly what you want on there. So if you want world clocks and a stopwatch, for instance, you can do it. So each of those corners and each of the middle parts are fully customizable and interchangeable. So I went for the seashell loop, which is like a Velcro type strap, and I'm very happy with it. I think it looks really good, especially when it's on the actual watch itself like this, and I think it's a nice combination, especially with the black infograph face. Now, operating the watch is exactly the same as you'd expect. Certainly if you've had a previous model, then you'll know all about it, but the one thing that is definitely different is the extra display. That extra 30% of real estate really does feel very, very different. And so whereas before it felt a little bit awkward using your fingers to operate the different functions, now scrolling through music or even scrolling through photographs is very, very simple. In fact, everything looks really, really good on the display. So looking at photographs, for instance, you can see really nice big bright images, and I think that they look great. So definitely this is the biggest step forward that Apple have made in the watch improvements, and I think that certainly if you're on a Series 1 it's definitely worth the upgrade, and probably if you're on Series 2 and 3. I'll be doing some comparison videos to show you some of those changes and some of those differences, so make sure you hit the red button and subscribe. But I hope you found this video useful. I'll see you on the next.